Just going to add to the list of movies that I have not seen until I told you guys and then what I thought about it. So here's another movie. Birds. Not a classic scary movie, it's more of a psychological thriller than anything else, but it's a Hitchcock movie and I haven't seen any Hitchcock movies until this point in time. Whoops. It's not that I didn't want to watch any Alfred Hitchcock movies, I just never got the chance to until this point in time of my life, and it happened to be when I decided to let myself know into the world that I was a movie reviewer, and they're like, you're not a real movie reviewer, you haven't even seen Alfred Hitchcock's movies or Titanic. These are classic films and pretty notable ones too that you haven't seen, and so what are you doing here? That's a good question. I'll let you know when I have an answer for that. But here I am telling you guys that I haven't watched the movie The Birds or an Alfred Hitchcock movie ever. So I was over at a friend's house and she's like, okay, you haven't seen any Alfred Hitchcock movies, so which one do you want to watch? And she gave me this list of movies that she had, and I was like, okay. I don't know any names of Alfred Hitchcock, and I was just like looking down the list and I was like, The Birds. I made a horrible decision. That night I couldn't sleep, but I did watch Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, and this is what I thought about it in the 3 stages that I went through going to watch this movie. Okay, so the first stage I went through was, where are the birds? Probably throughout the entire first act, the birds never show up, except for like one. But that's not the birds. It's a group, it's a cult, it's a society of birds. Birds plural. The one bird, the seagull that comes, doesn't actually, count. So when Melanie walks into the shop and it's full of birds, I'm like, oh, it's set in San Francisco, so San Francisco is gonna be, totally overtaken by birds. It's gonna be fine. It's nothing that the city hasn't dealt with before, because everything happens in the city. But I was wrong, and they weren't the birds that were happening, and I was like, okay, where are the birds? Then there's all this backstory and all this, like, passive-aggressive side-eyeing going on between these two women, and I'm just like, this is hilarious to watch, but where are the birds? There's, like, this love thing going on between Melanie and Mitch, and it's like, oh, fine, but where are the birds? And then they introduce some drama with like the mother, and they're like, oh yeah, the mom just didn't like me when I was interested in Mitch, but now we're best friends, and so like, there's that kind of drama, and like we're like, okay, is she controlling the birds, but where are the birds? So during this stage I was just talking with my friend and we were making fun of like the acting skills or the hair or like, the time period that was set in, and we're like, oh my gosh, and the hair, we're mostly making fun of the hair. And then suddenly this brings me to the next stage where I'm just like, oh, there are the birds. And so there are birds, and the first thing they do is attack kids. This is like a scary movie when, they attack the kids, because that's just messed up. And I'm watching this like, okay, there are the birds, and doesn't look like they're real birds, but there are the birds. And then like, the people of Bodega Bay are just like constantly in fear of the birds, and you're just like, there are the birds. There's this one scene that I have to talk about during this stage because it was just so funny. So there's a guy and he's smoking, and that's what you do in the 60s. And he's standing right next to a puddle of gasoline, and it's slowly seeping under his car, and the people are like, what are you doing? Do not drop that match, just what are you doing? And the guy's like freaking out, he's trying to put the match out. I'm like, dude, just chuck it away from you. But no, a spark ends up going down and the dude just starts, lights up on fire. It's so funny. I don't think Alfred Hitchcock meant us for us to laugh at that, but that's what I'm laughing at, okay? And so it's kind of scary. There are 3 main attacks during the There Are the Birds stage of watching the movie, and it's like the ones against the school children twice. I'm counting that as one because it was against the same group of people. Then there's a second attack, which is against the actual people in the town who are, running for their lives and somehow make it back to the diner after going out like the stupid people they are. And then there's the third major attack, which only happens to Melanie because, frankly, she deserves it. Because, girl, what are you doing going up into the attic late at night because you hear something? You're so dumb. So glad I didn't live in the 60s, by the way. Appreciate people from the 60s. Appreciate them from a distance. I don't want to live like them. That brings me to the third and final stage of me watching this film, and I was just brought to the third. So the first stage is like, where are the birds? And then the second stage is, there are the birds. And then the final stage is birds. Birds everywhere, like just birds. Birds! In the last scene there's like, they're driving away from all the birds, and you're just like seeing this and you're just like, there are so many birds, like all of these birds, and I'm just like terrified. They're just sitting there plotting against us, and they're just like, you think you can escape. I'm just like, there are so many birds, they're just birds, and your senses get overloaded with all these birds. Like, not only your sight, but like, you can just hear their each individual feather rustle, and you're just like, get away from me. So thus I'm now scared of birds. So question of the week is, what is your favorite Hitchcock film? Is it like Psycho? Is it Vertigo? Is it The Birds? Let me know in the comments down below. I really want to hear your answers. There are some buttons down below that do stuff. Click on them because pushing buttons is fun. I know you want to press the button because that's what I want to do every time I see a big red button. Just like, I just want to press it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great random Thursday. I'll see you on the other side of the screen. Bye!